Hello, everyone. Welcome back to CBJ Sports. It's episode 23. This is crazy for me. It feels like we just started not too long ago. But college football's first weekend, the NFL is coming up. This is what we were looking forward to when we first started the podcast, how this podcast would look when it comes football season. And week one is crazy. I didn't mention Josh is a little under the weather, so he's not going to be here today. But he is with us, being like our maintenance technical guy. Me, CJ, and Billy are here this week. Next week, we'll probably try to start a little earlier to get NFL talk in before the games come on. But this podcast is mostly college football and looking to week one of NFL football and an update of the MLB season. Boys, we're going to start week one in college football. It was a fun one. Anyone watch any? I know CJ probably watched Clemson game. Me and Billy were at the South Carolina game. But the first game we're going to talk about is Georgia Clemson, and our thoughts about that. I'll let CJ start more back around the table.
Uh, Defense side of the ball looked amazing, but offense has got to do better. I think really most of it falls on DJ, but I also think a good bit of it's on Tony Elliott, Clemson's offense coordinator. But DJ just got to get rid of the ball. He's just holding it too long. Receivers didn't really look that good. They're just like barely running routes, not coming back to the football. I mean, it was just Clemson wasn't ready for that game.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think as a South Carolina fan outlook, of course, you're pulling for Georgia because you don't want to see Clemson win game one, but it was also kind of shocking to see that offensive line play that bad after losing a couple guys. I couldn't remember the last time I saw Clemson quarterback get sacked, 8 times last night. The Georgia defense looked really good. JT Daniels didn't do anything special, but it was a proving point of where this Georgia team might be at the end of the season, being able to play with a team like Bama if they have to. Uh, Clemson's going to have a lot of time to work on their team with the conference schedule that they have, but it was shocking in the way that the Georgia defense shut down an offense we're not used to seeing be shut down.
I want to go back to a game last year. It was that game DJ started against Notre Dame. And the biggest problem I had with that game is Tony Elliott calling too long of plays for the offensive line and DJ. It's a different style of quarterback. He is mobile, but he's not Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson mobile. And at some point, they just kept running these long play actions or these long, just deep routes. And against a team like Georgia, who loves the blitz, I think most of the blame personally falls on Tony Elliott and the offensive line. DJ is going to get better. There's no doubt he didn't play great. But when you get sacked 7 times in one game, I feel like I'm playing Madden franchise. I mean, it's not good. You got to get the ball out quicker, run some screens, run some short routes, run the ball more. I get you don't have ETN, but you got to
O-line.
Yeah, I mean, when you allow 7 sacks, it's just not okay, and that goes on the O-line and on Tony Elliott for calling those plays. I mean, it's just a matter of what you got to go up against. Run quick plays. Run. So what if you have to dink and dunk your way down the field? Do what you have to do to win, and that just – I'm not going to put blame. I'm going to put a little bit of blame on Tony Elliott, or on DJ, but most of it falls on that O-line and Tony Elliott.
Yeah, I think I agree. You can go, CJ.
I just think, DJ's young. He's gonna have to learn, but there's just plays where you just gotta take off and run with the football. Like it's just open. You gotta make them respect your feet and all that. But they called one design QB run all game. That's just they should have called at least 5 or 6. I mean, he's 6'3", 250.
Yeah, that was one thing I was gonna say. DJ looked like he was holding the ball a little too long, but also something that me and Billy talked about last night is Will Shipley only touched the ball out of the slot or on flat routes. He was the one being able to move the football. I don't know why he didn't get touches out of the backfield or like HB dives, run plays. Will Shipley should have been touching the football, but it didn't happen in game one. So I expect that to be a little bit more of a factor come ACC play. And another thing I want to add is at the bottom of the screen, of course, you can see all the NCAA game scores that are going across screen as Billy changes his background to Tulane as they put 35 up on Oklahoma and
That Michael
almost
Pratt.
almost shocked the world there against the Sooners in game one. Is a lot of the Heisman contenders didn't look good in week one. So we'll see how those odds stack up as we move on to a player of the week, a shocker of the week in college football. A player of the week could be a look future into Heisman capabilities. But the first thing I want to talk about is shocker of the week. And
Can I go?
start? You can start. I'll go second.
Man, every year it's just the same thing with a certain SEC football team, and I hate them, but I hate to hate them just because they're in the SEC East. But it's gotta go to Vanderbilt and East Tennessee State. That is the saddest thing I've ever seen from an SEC school.
They end up losing that game
23-3, Blake. They lost 23-3 to Eastern Tennessee State. And what else can you say, man? That's Gordon Rogers alumni. I mean,
that's great. If that's the season going to change the schools, you might as well just kick Vanderbilt out.
I don't think the shock was Eastern Tennessee State beating them. It was by 20 points.
Yeah, it's like Vanderbilt usually in the SEC has a defense to be able to like stay in games in the East, but obviously not. Is Eastern Tennessee State's going to put up 23 on you? But my shocker was a team that I was expecting to be really good in the Big 12, and Iowa State beat Northern Iowa 16-10. And we're going to look forward to that game they're going to play next week against their biggest rival in Iowa. But Iowa State looked terrible. Breece Hall had 69 rush yards, a guy that led college football in rushing last year. I mean, it's shocking because that's a number 7 team in the country, almost getting upset in game one against Northern Iowa. But I think that has to be my shocker, and it's scary week one that all these games are so close.
I got Montana beating Washington. They're the first FCS team to upset a FBS and team or a ranked FBS team in 5 years, but they ended up beating them. What was it, 13-7?
Yeah, I watched the end of that game.
I've seen that. I was like, well, what?
Yeah, Washington actually had a chance to win it, and they threw the pick on like the 20, and Montana just kind of ran the clock out. But I also saw a report on that game. They played a couple of years ago, and they lost like 53-7. And then Washington paid them like $153,000 to come back and start this year. And Montana beat them and got paid $153,000. It's almost like a prize Jake Paul fight, and you beat Jake Paul. But Montana definitely deserves being noticed as shocker of the week. Is the next thing I want to talk about is player of the week. And I want to start this one because I went through all the stats and I was like, there's plenty of guys that played really good, but there was one that kind of stood out. Kenneth Walker, the running back at Michigan State, had 264 yards, 23 carries, and 4 touchdowns. He leads college football after week one in rush yards. Michigan State looked perfect week one. If they could keep that kind of play up, they might compete in the Big Ten, but Kenneth Walker deserves a lot of that credit.
Yeah, that's where I went. I watched that game, and I was just sitting there amazed watching Kenneth Walker do whatever he wanted to. And just to throw out another name, I think you kind of have to with the records he broke, and it was Bryce Young. I mean, the kid, there was, for some reason, doubts coming into the season from a lot of Alabama fans on his name, and he shut them up really fast.
Broke all the freshman debut records at Alabama.
Yeah, that's who I've had Bryce Young. A lot of people was just like didn't know about who was starting for Alabama or just this Alabama team in general. But he put up almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. So.
Yeah, against a ranked Miami defense that put out the turnover chain late.
And the call got reversed.
Yeah, and they're down by like 20. But that was definitely big players, big names week one, a lot of upsets. It looks like college football is going to be a lot more interesting than a lot of people think. Moving on to a segment we started last week in college football pick'em. Last week I went 2-4. CJ went 3-3, and Josh went 1-5.
I would just like to say I didn't say it on the podcast, but I did have them written down here. I went 3-3.
3-3. So Billy and CJ are tied for first at 500. But we're gonna move on to pick 'em week 2 in college football. And there's a couple ranked games, a couple games I picked out that I think should be good. The first one to start off is probably gonna be College Game Day in Oregon, Ohio State. I want to start it off because Oregon did not look good against Fresno State. The defense did not look as good as people thought. I think Ohio State's going to run away with this game. CJ Stroud didn't look good in the first half against Minnesota, but I think this offense is a little too good for a Pac-12 team. I think Ohio State wins big late.
I got Ohio State beating Oregon. Yeah, Ohio State looked good, and I think with Kayvon Thibodeau being out with a lower leg injury, it's going to hurt him.
Yeah, I have Ohio State pretty handedly here. So
I 100% agree. I think that's going to be a fun College Game Day game. Game 2 is a game that I think is just intriguing in my eyes. Pittsburgh against Tennessee. Tennessee coming off a win that a lot of Tennessee fans are very hyped about against Bowling Green, where they played them close early but kind of pulled away. But ACC, SEC games in week 2, week 3 usually are very interesting. But I'm going to stick with the SEC. I think Tennessee's got a good enough quarterback. I think Tennessee's defense is better than a lot of people think. I'm going to take Tennessee close late.
I got Pitt winning this one. Pitt scored 52 points the other day. I know it wasn't a good team, but that offense looked really good. They got a really good defense.
I'm going to go with Tennessee solely based off home field advantage, especially when it's Pitt. I love Pitt. Don't get me wrong. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game in the first half, probably for 3 quarters, and maybe it might pick up by the fourth. I just think Tennessee's going to find a groove and win it.
I agree. The third game is a team that I talked about a while ago that didn't look good last week. And CJ kind of shocked me last week, and the Iowa Hawkeyes looked really good in week 1. But in a rivalry game, of course, the rankings will get updated Monday. But right now, it's a number 18 versus a number 7. This is probably going to be a lot closer of a ranked game than people think, as Iowa State probably going to drop back after the close win. But Iowa State, I'm going to go Iowa after the week 1. I think Iowa looks really good. Iowa State is a good football team. I don't want people to think I don't believe that. But last week it didn't show. I'm going to take Iowa early in the season close.
Yeah, I'm taking Iowa again. I mean, they look amazing week 1, but the reason I'm not taking Iowa State is because they put up 16 points against Northern Iowa. That's a problem right there.
Yeah, I'm going with Iowa too. That's just mainly because I think Iowa's going to control too much of the clock. I think they're going to bring that ground and pound to the game and just not give Iowa State the chance to run whatever type of offense they want to run. And honestly, I think it's a 2-possession game. I love Iowa State. Don't get me wrong. Love what they're building there. But Iowa's a really good team.
Yeah, and so far this is looking like a College Game Day pick 'em. We've only really disagreed on one game in the Pittsburgh, Tennessee, but Washington, Michigan. Michigan looked good. They didn't play a good opponent week 1, and Washington's going to be upset after losing to a team like Montana. We all know Washington's still a good football team from the Pac-12. And Michigan has really been trapped in these games, and they usually don't play good when people are watching. But I'm going to stick with Harbaugh, the Wolverines. I think they show up in week 2. I think Washington just isn't there yet. Yes, they're going to be mad. This probably will be a close game in the 4th, but I'm going to take Michigan to pull it out.
Yep. I got Michigan beating Washington. Michigan's offense is not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. I don't think Washington's defense is all there yet, but I'm going to take Michigan on this one.
I reckon I'll be the outlier. I just, like Blake said, Michigan in national televised games against decent opponents just doesn't seem to go well. And it's not a matter of if Washington's that good. I just think Michigan has an off day. And I can just see Washington coming out with that revenge and beating it.
I could also definitely see that. As the last game there's a lot of Pac-12 games on this list, and the Pac-12 is going to have a big day if they want to prove that they're for real. But this is a rivalry game in the Pac-12 and usually means a leader of a division. Number 15 USC versus Stanford in a Pac-12, maybe a title match later on down the year. I'm going to go USC. I think that offense is ready. This could be a playoff team if they can win the Pac-12. This offense is for real, for real. I think USC wins in a landslide over the Cardinals.
Yeah,
USC.
that's it. It's just I don't see Stanford competing here.
I agree. Is college football week one? Anyone else got anything else to say? Is me and Billy watched South Carolina have a shutout week one against Eastern
Eastern
Illinois.
Illinois. I mean,
CJ, you got anything else or Billy?
just really big upset week. I mean, out of
Sam
nowhere.
Howell didn't look good.
Yes.
Thanks.
Anyone before we change this, anyone got a who's leading the Heisman after week one?
Bryce Young, probably.
I was gonna say Bryce Young
That-
Rattler.
He really didn't look good.
I mean, he still put up 40.
It's
The
got to be.
defense just didn't look good.
Yeah, but if you watch the game, he didn't look good.
It's got to be Bryce Young, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 2 or 3 weeks if you see Michigan State's running back just really climb
could
up that
see that.
list.
I agree. I think those are three names that are probably still at the top of that list. As the Heisman updates, odds will come out sooner or later towards the middle of the season. As we move on to something we all care about and we're all ready to watch next week on
Cross.
Sunday. Lacrosse is not the answer. As the NFL is, as I update, I'm a Panthers fan. Billy's a Dolphins fan. I'm sorry, Billy. And CJ and Josh are Bills
Trying to
fans
help
from
you out,
Buffalo.
Billy.
Yeah, trying to get the switcheroo. But I'm going to start off with something that I've been seeing on different podcasts. I want to start here. Most likely to happen NFL edition before we start the season. It's kind of a look forward segment into the future weeks. And the first question is either or Saints having a winning record or Justin Herbert leads the Chargers to the playoffs. And I'm going to let CJ start and we'll work to Billy and me.
What was it? Most likely to what?
Saints having a winning record or Justin Herbert leading the Chargers to the playoffs.
Oh God. I mean,
That's tough.
I'm gonna go Saints. With a winning record. If you can't have a positive record, just something's wrong. But I think the Chargers ones, it's definitely gonna be more harder because that defense really ain't set yet how they want it. And they got a bunch of young coaches. The offense is fine, but I mean, AFC is gonna be really, really good this year.
I was about to say, I think I know where Blake's going to go with this, but I think Jameis is going to have a really good year. I think he has the potential to easily be a 4,000-yard guy and an offense that really is going to look a lot, I wouldn't say a lot different, but compared to Drew Brees, Jameis is on the other side of the spectrum. So if James has a good year, I think they easily surpass 9, 10, maybe 11 wins.
I think I was going to be the lone wolf, even if Josh was in here, because we kind of started an argument last night. I wanted to wait, but he's under the weather today, so we don't get to argue about it. I'm going to go Justin Herbert to the playoffs. I think that's a really good Chargers team led by a really good coach. I think Justin Herbert, it's not my hot take at the bottom, as we're going to talk here in a minute about. But I think Justin Herbert could be an MVP guy at the end of the year. I think he's going to put up video game numbers this year. Austin Eckler's fully healthy. Keenan Allen is fully healthy. This offense is going to be surefire all year long. If that defense can step up, I think this is a slide-in lock as a playoff team. If Justin Herbert's for real how I think. And the Saints, I think it's a little tougher to see if they're going to have a winning record because that NFC South is for real. The Falcons' offense is really good. The Panthers' offense is really good with a young defense. And the Bucks are the Bucks. I think this division, you have to play them twice a year. Each team, there's a very easy chance the Saints could be negative at the end of the year. So I'm going to say Justin Herbert to the playoffs for my decision. The second question, the 49ers to win the NFC West or the Cowboys to win the NFC East? And I want to start it to see where everyone else stands because everyone knows how I feel about Dak and Zeke. I'm going to go with the Cowboys, have a better chance to win the East. The only team really standing in the way are the Washington football team. I think the Cowboys have the best offense in the division. I think they're going to be able to outscore teams. If they can win a lot of the non-division schedule and get 10, 11 wins, I think they win this division.
What was the other one besides Cowboys?
49ers to win the West.
Ooh. Yeah,
gonna
I'm going with the Cowboys. You never know with the Rams. You just don't. Or
see
the
in this.
Cardinals.
This is a testament to how good the NFC West is and how bad the NFC East is. For the fact I'm going with the NFC East. Because do I think the 49ers can win the West? Without a doubt. But that division is so good. And compared to the NFC East, it's just like you said. I mean, any of those four teams could honestly walk in there and win it and be 7-10. So
Yeah, and you're going to be shocked as I say that, as I think that just has a better chance of happening because my hot take also involves the NFC East later on down the script.
oh boy.
But the next question is: will the Colts have the best defense in the NFL, or will Trevor Lawrence and the Jags make the wild card? I'm gonna let Billy start and go. CJ me.
I'm sorry, Jaguars fans. The Colts having the best defense, and I don't know if it's. I think this is one of the easier one to pick for me, just because that division is outside of Houston. That division's pretty good. I mean, Jaguars are gonna get there, but the Colts and the Titans are just those. You have to play both of those teams twice a year, and I'm sure the schedule. You got some tough teams on there, and the Colts are just so young, so good, and just they do everything right. They have built that defense from the ground up, and this should be the year where it finally just it came together last year, but this year should be reminiscent of the Jaguars and that AFC playoff run.
CJ.
I don't even know, honestly. I'm gonna say Jaguars just because Colts are not gonna have the best defense in the league. That's the only reason why I said it.
Yeah, you're gonna go with the fact of the Colts aren't gonna have the best defense.
Yeah, that's the only reason why.
I think it's possible. I think it's very
I'm
possible.
gonna stay on the side of Billy. I think there's a better chance of the Colts having the best defense in the league. They have the best linebacker, in my opinion, in the NFL. The corners maybe not there yet, but that front seven is filthy in Indianapolis. I just don't think the Jags are there yet. I think the offense could be good, but the defense has a lot of work to do, and this could end up being a 5-6 win football team at the end of the year. So I think there's a better chance the Colts work their way to the top at the defensive side of the football. I think there's also a better chance that none of these happen, if we're being honest. But moving on to something that I've foreshadowed in the hot take of the season. I want to see y'all's first because I think this is going to be fun.
What?
Hot take of the season.
Hot take?
Yep.
Billy,
Come
go ahead.
on.
Go ahead, Billy.
I don't know if it's that much of a hot take. It might not be, but I know I'm really gonna tick off Mr. KJ. But the Steelers don't make the playoffs.
Ooh. Second.
That division's really good. The Browns are on the rise. The Ravens have a really good football team, and I could see the Steelers being right on the outside edge of that playoff, looking in and just
The
not
AFC
making
is
it.
really good.
That AFC is really tough, and
CJ's going to cry.
All right. Want to hear mine?
Yeah.
Hot take. Jets finished second in the AFC East.
Ooh. Woo-hoo-hoo. Not what I want to hear playing in week one. Not what I want to hear. I mean, I'm not sold on Zach Wilson yet, but I mean that team's good, underrated good.
I know you're not, but like Zach Wilson's good, but like that coaching staff and that defense is gonna be good this year. People
I think it's going to need another year or two to build.
Yeah,
especially with the Patriots being back and the Dolphins are where they're getting to.
I agree a little bit more with Billy.
They'll finish second or first.
I don't know about year one for Zach Wilson, but
mark it if it happens.
If it happens, we'll come back and record it. We're also going to record this because when I wrote this down, I fully believe it.
Daniel Jones MVP. What?
I fully believe it, and I said it's in the NFC East. I'm done. I haven't been the biggest loving of Jalen Hurts, but I'm going to show him the love now. I think the Eagles are contenders week 13, week 14 to win the NFC East. And I think they're going to be either a game back or a game ahead of Washington, to win that division come week 13, week 14. I think this offense is going to shock a lot of people.
I like
Miles
it.
Sanders is going to be a franchise back at the end of this year. The wide receiving core maybe not there yet, but Devontae Smith might be the best rookie drafted. The defense is underrated. No one talks about him. Derek Barnett is a really good end for the Eagles. They've drafted defense last few years besides Devontae Smith. I think this Eagles team
Jalen
is
Reagor.
I think this defense is not talked about enough, but I think Jalen Hurts is going to be the key factor here. And if they are sold on Jalen Hurts, I think this team's going to be really good. Could be a playoff team in the NFC East just by winning the division if they can.
In all honesty, I like it. I like Jalen Hurts. I want to give him a year to see. Hey, worst case scenario, dude, something happens to Jalen. Pick Gardner Minshew.
Yeah,
dude.
Gardner Minshew. Yeah, I think this team has a lot of options, and I like the choice of that happening. The next question is a question I was really hoping Josh would also be here for because I think he would go the opposite way of me. Ravens over under 10 wins. I want to start it because everyone knows I'm high on the Ravens. I think it's over easy. I think they get 12-13. The division's going to be good, like Billy said, but I think that's the best defense maybe in football. I think the Ravens are really good everywhere on the defense side of football. And every year we seem to say, when will people figure out Lamar Jackson? And it hasn't happened yet until come playoff time. But Lamar during the regular season is a video game. It's you don't stop him, and I think they get 10 wins easy.
CJ, you want to go ahead and
Uh,
go? I'm on the same side as Blake here. I just think that team in the regular season is too good that I think it should be honestly an easy 10 wins. And I just see him first or second in that division.
CJ?
all right, I got them. I'm trying to go through the schedule. It's a pretty tough schedule. I got them right around. Oh, hang on. I got them right around 8 or 9 with this schedule. They can't hit 10 though. They really could hit 10.
Josh just put in the chat. He's watching from his computer. Can Gus Edwards be the main workhorse? I think that's an easy yes because I've watched the Ravens because I love Lamar Jackson the way he plays football. But Gus Edwards was a feature back when J.K. was there. Gus Edwards was the guy that touched the rock when they needed touchdowns or first downs. So Gus Edwards is going to get more carries. He was one of the best yards per attempt that the Ravens have had over the last 5 years. I think Gus Edwards is perfect for that offense as a power back. I think this team's going to flourish with Gus in the backfield. But I could see him winning 10-11, but I think it's higher than 12-13. I just think the defense is too good. Talking about, we've seen the Patriots cut Cam Newton, and they're going to roll with Mac Jones. And a lot of judgments come after year one for rookie quarterbacks. And we're going to go ahead and give our future judgment before week one, before he steps on the field. Will Mac Jones be a keeper or a bust when it comes post the 17th game? And I want to start it because I think he's going to be a keeper. I think it's going to be easy. I think he's not going to win enough games to make the playoffs. I don't think the Patriots are a playoff team, but I think he's going to prove enough to where he can grow and he's going to be able to be the leader of that team and show promise for the Patriots in years to come.
Yeah, he's definitely a keeper. I don't think cutting Cam hurts Mac Jones a little bit. You just don't get that learning experience through your first year, learning everything behind it. But
also, no
yeah,
Julio.
I think he's going to be a keeper.
Yeah, and I think
Brian Hoyer's not MVP, Billy.
I said but I was meaning like there's still no help. Like no one's there that's older than him that's going to help him.
Yeah, but
Stidham's not helping him.
Nope.
Still think it's an easy keeper. Okay.
Yeah.
I think he's the smartest quarterback in this draft class, and it's not even close. And he's somebody that's going to learn. He might just be a better learning through experience because I really do think he knows how to make the right reads. He knows how to. He's perfect for that system. He fits in perfectly with that Bill Belichick system. I think he's going to be a really good quarterback for years to come.
And I agree. As we get forward, I know we play the Jets. The Bills play the Steelers. Who the Dolphins play?
Patriots in New England.
Patriots. So we all have big week one games that are going to show either we're going to cry during the podcast or we're going to be very, very happy. Depending on when we do it next week, we'll keep everyone updated. But moving on to something that is getting very heated is the MLB come postseason time. As I wear my Red Sox hat, the Yankees and Red Sox are wild card teams. The Braves are winning the division, so we're all kind of happy we're in postseason stance as of right now for all of our teams. And the first question is something I like to look at every single year: underrated guys, most underrated hitter of this season. I'll let CJ start with work around.
I didn't really have one. Like I was trying to go there and pick one out. I just really couldn't find one. But I took one that people are like they used to talk about him a lot, or even ESPN or anybody. But this year, not really. No, I just picked Stanton. He's hitting 271. He's got 30 bombs. He's got a 500 slugging percentage. I mean, he's playing really good right now. Like I wouldn't say carrying the team, but he's definitely getting most of our RBIs every single night.
I don't agree, but go.
What?
I mean, underrated guys we don't talk about. Everyone knows who Stanton is, man.
Like, I think you know where I'm going with this.
Where?
Like, who else would I say other than
I don't know.
Austin Riley.
You're daggum right, kid.
Everybody knows
I
who he
mean,
is, bro. Pick
No,
another
no,
one.
but I have not seen.
Bacon.
No. No, you're not giving me that.
Okay. Is it?
No.
The only
everybody
reason
knows.
y'all know who he is, like y'all do, is because I scream
Yeah.
at you about him every day of the year.
I agree, and I could go with Red Sox, but I'm not. I'm gonna go the guy a lot of people don't like to love. Maybe the best DH in baseball this year, Yordan Alvarez for the Astros. He's hitting 283 with 28 bombs. The kid is a stud at the DH position. He's carried the Astros when they need him to. All he does is smash the baseball as a designated hitter. I mean, it's Yordan Alvarez. No one talks about him. If the people talk about the Astros, they talk about Jose Altuve. What are we laughing at?
Yeah.
So everybody gets to
Because we
say their
hate-
stats, but Billy.
He just knows how to smash baseball, dude.
What? That's all he has to do. He's the best DH.
He's cheating.
He knows when fastballs are coming. I know it's easy to hate the
I
Astros,
almost
but
picked him. I guess
I
I should've
love
picked him.
Yordan Alvarez. I mean, you can say the Astros are still cheating, but that kid, all he does is hit baseballs out of the ballpark. And I've been in love with him ever since the first year I've watched him play. I think that I don't like the Astros, but I like Yordan. The second question, a guy that's getting no
Well.
love in the NL, and a guy that I talk about a lot because, of course, one of our friends, Zach Kaler, is a big Reds fan. He's cousins with this guy. Nick Castellanos is not right now in the NL MVP discussion. And I want to answer the question of why not. And I want to start off because I have stats to back it up. Or I don't have – I have one stat. He's leading the MLB in batting average. Is my main stat I'm going to put out there. But a lot of the stars are taking over this MVP debate and guys that don't deserve it besides Tatis. But I think Castellanos has had a better season than Bryce Harper. He's had a better season than Max Muncy. Guys that have been talked about in this conversation. So that's my biggest concern. If Castellanos has done what he's needed to do to be in this conversation, I think he deserves the credit to be at least two.
Yeah, I think he should be up there. I think right now, like you said, he's having a better season than those other guys. I mean, he's playing really, really good right now. I just don't know if it's because, like, it's the Reds. Nobody's really
The Reds are a wild card
thinking
team
of
right
him
now.
or anything, but I don't know.
I
A big
mean,
market team, I should say.
that's part of. I think it comes down to that, really. I mean, the fact of it's not a player that's part of that whole just let the kids play thing. It's not because it's just I feel like not saying Tatis is definitely like I don't think Tatis is blow away first, but I do think he's first. What was that, Blake?
I agree.
I mean, he's you compare these stats and
I think Tatis is long shot. I think Tatis is
He's
going to
like
win
fifth.
MVP.
Castellanos is leading in almost every category but stolen bases. I didn't see OPS. OPS. He's leading in OPS, stolen bases, and I didn't see RBIs either. But you get the point. I think it's a lot closer race than it should be right now. And I think Castellanos should be at the top of that list with some of the other guys that you.
Yeah, I think
aren't hearing
Castellanos
from.
should be like 100% too in the NL MVP race. And I think at the end of the season, I think there's gonna be a lot more love for Castellanos when it comes to MVP talk time.
One more
what?
thing. Tell me
Yeah.
one reason why Max Muncy is second or third in the MVP race when
I don't know why his name's even
other
out
than the
there.
fact that he's a Dodger. I mean, you're hitting 256. Why are you in the MVP race? Why is that even a possibility?
I don't know, but the guy that's leading the MLB in batting average is not.
I mean, even Tatis, he's batting 280, which is still really good. Don't get me wrong, but it's like average does not matter anymore, and it kind of just blows my mind.
Yeah, I think it really should. I'm in love with Castellanos the way he plays. I hope he's a Red Sox soon, sooner than later. But speaking of underrated guys and guys that have breakout seasons, Silver Sluggers. We're gonna hand about each position in the AL and go around the board. This can take a little bit longer than probably I think it will, but that's gonna be the last segment before we wrap it up. And we're gonna stay in the AL, Billy. So I'm sorry we don't get to talk Braves. I only have one Red Sox on this list, but we're gonna go first, second, shortstop, third, right field, center, left. And I don't really want to go through first because I don't think it's an argument. I have Vlad, 315, 39 home runs. He's an MVP guy. I think it's Vlad.
Without a doubt.
Wait. Did you change the question? The question on the thing was AL and NL.
No, I have just AL.
No, it's just AL.
Because you can't. I mean, if you want to go both, I don't have stats.
I just went out of whole MLB.
We can do NL next week.
Yeah, that's what I was planning to do.
Yeah, Vlad.
Yes, I'll let CJ get a second to search up. I probably messed it up, but
it's
second base.
Go.
I'm going to go Jose Altuve. He's had 271, 25 home runs. I think second base is unlocked. I know the other name that Billy's probably going to say that has more home runs, but Jose Altuve is the most consistent bat. He's got a better batting average. I think Jose Altuve has proved that he deserves the most Silver Slugger.
Well,
I actually had Jose Altuve in mine. Billy, I go second.
No, not anymore. We already established this.
I know you're going to say it, Billy, so just go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Blue Jays still. It's got to be Marcus Semien. I mean, since batting average doesn't matter anymore, I mean, I just think the way he's hit this year, he's meant more to his team this year because without him and Vlad, that team is not putting up the numbers it's had.
I think Semien had more home runs than Altuve, but I think Altuve beat him in the other hitting stats. That's why I took Altuve.
I don't even know where Marcus Semien is. He's not even top 15 on here.
I think Semien was first.
Oh, he's second. Never mind. I'm stupid.
Yeah, Semien's having a really good year at second base. I just want Jose out to consistency. I'm going to move on to shortstop. Shortstop, are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying Semien has more RBIs, more stolen bases. Who cares? More home runs, higher batting average by 0.4.
Yeah, I just went with the close and consistency and meeting. But shortstop, I know it's going to be shocking. I'm not going to go Xander Bogaerts. I'm going to go another guy in the AL, though. Big Timmy Anderson. I think he's carried the White Sox a lot this year. He's hitting 302 with 14 bombs. X has, I think, more home runs and maybe even a better batting average. But I think Tim Anderson has meant more. I think that Silver Slugger is going to mean more when it comes into the year. I think Tim Anderson could catch him with batting average, but I went Tim Anderson close over X.
Tim Anderson's sitting at 302 right now. I got Tim Anderson.
I'm going to be that alarm once again. I got to go with Xander Bogaerts. I mean, that kid's just – I've loved watching him play this year. I hate when I've watched the Red Sox come to town and play Atlanta, but that kid's so fun to watch, and he's had an incredible year. So I'm going to go with Xander.
Yeah, I could see Xander getting it just off the consistently. I think he's hit 300 too, but I went Timmy off pop. Third base is my one Red Sox on this list. Rafael Devers by a long shot. I don't think there's another third baseman that deserves it in the AL. He's got 32 home runs and 276. He's completely changed the way he hits. He's been able to hit the fastball this year. Yesterday, hit a 98-mile-per-hour fastball and a 3-2 count for a 3-run bomb. Rafael Devers has looked amazing this year, and he deserves the Silver Slugger.
Yeah, I got Rafa. How many home runs does he have? 30 or
32.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got 100 RBIs, but I don't think it'll be able to beat him out for that.
Yeah, I got Rafa. It ain't really that
It's
close.
not close, Billy. Don't give me another name. That's the
I
one
just
Red
said-
Sox I
just
had
said
to
I don't
put
think
on.
it's that close, Blake.
But you went.
I know it's tough giving it to I think he's like 24 or 25, but Rafa's going to be good for a while. I think he's kind of locked down third base in the AL lately. Right field. I know CJ's going to get mad at this one. I really wanted to go Judge, but I think there's someone that's deserving, and he stands in right field. It's Mitch Haniger, hit 253 with 30 bombs. Him and Aaron Judge have the same amount of home runs. Mitch Haniger has looked perfect all year long. If anyone deserves to take it from Judge, it's got to be Haniger. He deserves it.
I'm going Judge, bruh. This is his best year so far since he got his MVP took away. But I mean, he's carrying the team literally day in and day out.
Good.
All right. I was just making
Good,
sure. Yeah, no. I was, dude. Pitchers don't get Silver Sluggers in the AL, do they?
No.
Because that's where it's kind of the whole Ohtani thing comes into play because he's got to win something, but I don't know what they count him as. So it's kind of
I don't think he has enough games played to get a Silver Slugger.
if he does, Ohtani. If he doesn't, Judge. That's to me, it's simple as that.
I could see that happening. Center field, I'm going to go with Cedric. I think the Orioles have a star in center field. He's in 304, 24 bombs. I think he already has like 30, 20 stolen bases, something like that. He's already got like 20, 30, 30, something like that. But Cedric Mullins has looked perfect all year long. The Orioles have looked bad, but he's been a bright spot. I think it's got to go Cedric Mullins in center.
Yep, Cedric.
Yes, sir.
And to left field. This is where it got really confusing. I have 3 names, and I'm going to go with Michael Brantley. I think he's looked the most consistent in 316. He's only got 8 bombs, and I understand that. The second name was Austin Meadows in Tampa, hitting 237 with 22 home runs. And the only reason Joey Gallo would get it would be off home runs, but he's hitting 200, and that will not get you a Silver Slugger. I have to go Michael
Dude,
Brantley.
average don't matter.
It does matter when it comes to Silver Slugger, and you cannot hit 200. So I think they're going to give it to Austin Meadows, but I want to go Michael Brantley because he's hitting 316. He doesn't have the pop, but I think Michael Brantley's meant a lot.
In my stats or my notes that I had for like out of the all MLB, I put left field, and I was looking at him and literally put no good stats. Like I didn't know who to pick. I
think
don't know.
Austin Meadows is going to steal it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going with Michael Brantley. That's just too consistent of a hitter every single year. And he plays baseball the old-fashioned way. You don't see that much anymore, but I'm going with Michael Brantley.
I 100% agree. MLB's getting heated. It's fun. Of course, me and TJ are going to be going back and forth. The Red Sox Yankees play a lot down the stretch as wild card heats up, as the A's try to catch the Red Sox and the Mariners trying to get back in it. In the NL, it's really close also with the Padres, the Reds. All those teams are really right there together. Before we wrap up, we're back on Apple and Spotify. Of course, we post on YouTube every single week. Next week, we'll keep updated on Twitter, on Instagram, and tell you when we're going to start the stream, if we decide to do it before or after the 1 o'clock games. But we hope you had fun today. Anybody got anything else to say?
Awesome.
Deuces, guys. Love you.
Doses.